morning. This is Miss Ellie White coming to you to explain something to you. And I hope that it will perk your interest just a little bit so that you can be saved before this same scenario happens to you and your family. I'm here to talk this morning about this book, Conspiracy Series, the new land fraud scheme of the 1%. Now, in this, you will find this written in absolutely movie-ready screen rip, where you have the exact conversations and the setting and the concluding paragraph about each scenario that happened. And this is real life story, my story, on how DNC DWS brother Dave Wogernies stole my farm and 39 properties from me to basically silence me into poverty and hope that I don't make it through this winter without any heat. They're trying to freeze me to death. They jump through my windows with guns. They've chased me through cornfields with guys in trucks with rifles. They've jumped through open windows over me and my daughter laying immobilized on a concrete floor with guns. They broke into our back door as soon as we arrived in this state, literally the next day. And an officer and his 4 friends tried to murder us. And I was on the line with 911, so this is all recorded. And the lady got 50 firemen from 4 firehouses in my yard in 2 minutes flat. And she said, there, now we have our witnesses. Now they can't kill you. So this is absolutely documented. I had 1 mortgage with 1 individual. And on a $128 million farm, it had a balance of $53,000. And I was paid $28,000 ahead. I had never had a single late payment. They put a half of 1 line of like a double paragraph legal description in an ad in a paper. It was found by the grace of God through the lady who had placed the ad and then went back and tried to find it and couldn't even find it. Because you have a half of 1 line of a legal description that's several paragraphs long. You don't have the property address. You don't have the name of the people. And it said, we're going to foreclose on this person. And so people assume you're the one person in jail standing up going, I'm innocent. And nobody would listen. And the 3 key players were all paid a bribe of $50,000 each. So they hope that they can basically starve or freeze you to death so that you don't have an opportunity to tell anybody what's going on. Well, I have told this story to Scott Walker and to Attorney General Van Hollen and to several senators, congressmen, and state representatives. And one guy stood up and said, I'm taking this straight back to the Capitol right now. And we're going to get all of my office, and we're going to get all of this other guy's office, and we're going to fix this. I've never seen a more horrendous example of, mortgage abuse, of somebody saying, well, we have a loan with you, so we'll just take everything. And they stole my retirement savings, which was like $397,000. And every single property, all 39 properties that anyone in my immediate family owned, that had no loans, no taxes, no nothing, anything that was wrong with them. Just completely to demoralize us into submission. They took my grandmother's dishes from the year 1200. And they didn't sell them or give them to a friend. They destroyed them. They stole my daughter in 5th grade art projects and earrings and little jewelry and things that she had made in school and destroyed them. They came in about every 3 weeks and burglarized our house. First thing they took, of course, was guns. But there were weird burglaries where they went in and stole all of my lingerie and all of my high heels. Really? And these are sick and warped individuals. And they went into 2 houses that had never had anybody but me and mine in years. And they found the DNA of a real estate agent that was supposed to sell some acreage for us. Not a house, not a home. They found his DNA inside both houses, which were burglarized in the hour and a half that we were gone. His DNA is found in both houses. And this is Mr. Peterson Realty in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And the payoffs were made to the head of the sheriffs, Kowalczyk, and to Pete Lehman, and to Marv, the head of the then M&I Bank, and Katie Stern-Weiss. She displays her name spelled many different variations in order to hide her identity. And David Wogernies said that he changed his name and the name of everyone in his family to Wogernies from Wasserman so that he could donate $3,300,000 that he stole from my farm to the HC campaign, so that if she won, DNC DWS would now be named SOS, Secretary of State. So I'm glad his money got thrown away, but that came from my farm. These are not people that are just doing pay-for-play and blackmail and bribes and corruption, but they're stealing and selling other people's homes, and not for the proper price. They took one property that was worth over $1 million and, sold it to themselves for $50,000. And there was a kind of a corrupt and evil farmer lady in the area, and she wouldn't give me $375,000, although she had it cash in her bedroom, for my farm that was worth $100 million, because she made a better deal with Marv down over at the bank and David Wogernies to sell it to them for $300,000. Only the three guys were really PO'd at being pushed around. And so she goes very excitedly to her bedroom, gets $300,000 in cash, and rushes down to the bank where, you guessed it, there was waiting an IRS officer who wanted to know how she happened to have $300,000 in cash on her. And he immediately confiscated a third, $100,000, and said, you need to prove where and how you got this money and why you aren't reporting this kind of cash on your income taxes. So she goes back home and she calls me up and screams at me like it's my fault because she tried to make a deal behind my back, and an IRS officer was waiting at the bank, at the behest of the bank, to take from her $100,000 cash. So just remember the old saying, there's no honor among thieves. Now, after I met with the Attorney General and the former head of the FDIC and a couple of regional, local, senators and such, who, by the way, told me that they had been Republican their whole life, but because half the state is 98% Democrat, they changed their affiliation to Democrat just so they could be the winning party and the hometown boy. And then they proceeded to tell me about war crimes they had done, where they were standing on the necks of Vietnamese little tiny baby civilian women, children, and pointing guns at them, and then basically assassinating them, at point blank, unarmed little tiny civilians. And they took pictures of it and were passing it among their friends. And he actually gave me his computer, and the letter is on his computer where he says, can you give me that picture back where I did this and this and this? And so these are very vile and evil people. And when the state representative was on his way back to try to get, the congressmen and the senators all involved, and they would pitch in all their offices, all their staff, and get to the bottom of this, they actually picked him up. They called me up and they said, well, what did he say? And I told them that he was in great favor of how horrendous the acts were that were done against me. And the man questioned me, the senator, and said, what time did he leave and where was he going? And they picked him up about 20 minutes later, 40 minutes outside of the Capitol, and charged him with a DUI, put it on the front page, and ran him into the ground. Now, they ended up retracting it later, and they posted the last line of the story on the back page, which said his alcohol content was 0.000. In other words, nothing. Just to try to humiliate him into silence. The guy who did this, the senator, and his neighbor had a forklift truck run over me in the neighbor's store, and I could not speak more than 4 words a day for 2.5 years, and they said I'd never walk again. And God healed me, and I had a miracle in healing, and I know that He has something out there very great for me to do, so I'm going to keep on making these videos. And if any of you would like to help support me, please write me a letter and send me any kind of encouragement you can to buffalostudy@yahoo.com. That's P.O. Box 31, Big Bear Lake, California, 92315. Or paypal.me/buffalostudy@yahoo.com. And the book is Conspiracy Series, The New Land Fraud Scheme of the 1%. And this has been translated into Russian, French, German, Spanish, and you can find it on CreateSpace or Amazon.com. And I really appreciate you getting this video to as many people as you can, because they did this scam first in Wisconsin. Then they did it in 15 other states. So we now have 1,520,000 families who had all of their property taken from them for payoff schemes to the HC campaign and foundation. Okay? And if they succeed, they'll be branching into the 35 remaining states, 100,000 properties per state, in a massive scheme to try to completely topple our entire economic structure. Then New World Order marches in, and our grand evil leader saves us from all the chaos and rounds up in the street with Chinese NATO soldiers, everyone, to FEMA camps. Now, if you've been, being a troublemaker, you're going to get killed on the spot inside your own house. If you're questionable about being retrained and taking the mark of the beast, don't you dare. You'll go to the lake of fire forever and ever and ever. They chop your head off, it's 2 seconds of pain, and you're instantly in heaven. You're going to die one way or another anyway. Do not do anything to end up in the lake of fire. And then, as they get us all herded into FEMA camps and Walmart distribution centers, which, by the way, were built for that purpose. Look at the structure of the store. There's no windows. Okay, no display booths. You drive into the tire bay, and everything is locked on all sides. They disembark their passengers, and it has to be open from the inside of the store. They let the people in, and there's holding areas, and then they go into the main part of the store. And then the bus exits through the back. They just, keep peeling them through in order, like a little choo-choo train, herding as many people as they can into these Walmart distribution centers. And if you seem like they can scare you or retrain you or reprogram your mind or, MK Ultra mind control you, then they'll let you live. But there's going to be thousands of, machines there to input these microchips into your right forehand or into your forehead. And if you say, absolutely not, I'm a Christian, I can't take that, then you go to wherever they have their center for the guillotines. Okay? And we know that there's 15,000 guillotines at each of many bases. We're told there's 600 FEMA camps altogether set up right now, plus another 250 that are Walmart distribution sorting stations. And we know that the first stations to get the guillotines to behead anyone who's a Christian were first set up in Florida, Georgia, Alaska, and Montana. And the facility in Alaska can hold 2 million people. Now, the U.S. entered into something that I just found about yesterday. When they went down into Congo and they put their backing behind a certain president, he went through his nation and rounded up everybody in the country and put him into FEMA camps and then just left him there. They got raped by the soldiers. They got no food, no medical, no water. The largest quiet genocide that probably the world has ever seen. And this was Hillary and Obama's friend in the Congo. Word of that just being released. Please get this video out to everybody that you can. You know, my life, your life, everybody's life depends on getting this information out, letting people know that that cute little tattoo and that cute little mark of the beast will send you to the lake of fire. That is your final chance to decide between calling on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and going to the lake of fire and hell and with the devil and everything for all eternity. And they want to deceive you. So they're out there actively learning about the Bible and being prepared for giants and aliens that are coming, which neither of them are really aliens. They are just demons, which have inbred with humans. So some of them are full demons, and some of them are half human, half demon. Okay, there's no such thing as aliens, and we live on an earth which is currently under a huge protective dome by God. Check out the history between 1948 and 1952. How many bombs they sent up? Megaton bombs. Not just the little baby ones that they put on Hiroshima, but huge mega bombs trying to break through God's protective barrier, the firmament. And if you ask a Mason that's a 33 or higher Mason, and I know they'll tell you 33 is the highest, but it's not. The devil sits at level 360, so that tells you something. You know, they get you in and they make you swear that they'll kill you if you tell any of their secrets, and you do. And then over the years of indoctrination and memorizing scripture and acting out things that happened, because they're getting prepared for the end battle. And we need to too. So be safe, and we'll see you in heaven. And remember, don't try to save your life and lose it in hell. Lose it for Jesus and be in heaven for all eternity. Because life is not life. Life is just a test. Miss Ellie White, BuffaloStudy@yahoo.com. Thank you and have a great day.